Hey, thank you for joining us today. This webinar is going to help answer a very important question for you. And that question is now the time to switch your recommendations provider? Just like most all of online stores, it's likely that you have some sort of recommendation solution already on your site. But that same plugin that you set up may not be getting the results that you actually need anymore. Because good enough is not good enough anymore. Plus, speaking with a lot of businesses every day here, there is clearly still a lot of manual work that's taking place when it comes to merchandising and recommendations. So this educational webinar, we will help you learn how you can take your recommendations and really your customer experience to that next level. Now, before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping. All participants on the call will be muted during this approximately 45-minute webinar. We will be recording the session, though, so you will receive a link via email as a follow-up. Now, at any time, we love questions, so ask those questions anytime. You do that by typing into first click on the red Q&A button and then type in your question. That red Q&A button, you'll see it, it's the bottom of your screen. And yeah, at the end of the session, we'll be able to answer any questions that you have. So a little bit about the presenters today. My name is Bob Angus. I'll be your moderator. I'm a strategic marketing consultant working with SLI Systems. And I'm an e-commerce evangelist. I love great shopping experiences and have been really fortunate to help online merchants in my roles at PayPal, Symantec, and Commission Junction. Plus, I had the great fortune to be a contributing editor at Practical E-commerce. Now, today, we've got a really great treat in store for you. I get to interview someone, and not just someone. I get to interview Justin Smith here at SLI Systems. He's been on the front lines working with online businesses to optimize their shopping experiences every single day. So Justin's really on it. But maybe, Justin, you want to chime in? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, thanks, Bob, for the introduction. I appreciate that. Yeah, really excited to be here with you. I've been with SLI about 2.5 years now. As Bob did mention, I do work on the front lines with our customers every day, trying to better understand their business and how our solutions can help make them more money. And this specific topic, recommendation, is one that I think is an area that a lot of businesses do miss opportunities on and can be a great way to seriously boost online sales if done correctly. So appreciate the time, Bob, and thanks for the introduction.
You got it. All right. Well, so what you'll learn today in the webinar is kind of what Justin says, how recommendations can help you deliver an experience that your customers are going to love, and how that's going to drive better results for you, and hopefully also cut the time that you're spending doing manual merchandising. And the other cool thing that we have in store is we have some great retailer examples that of folks who are employing the latest and greatest in recommendations and seeing big gains from it. So really good information for you today. Now, online recommendations really truly are a powerful merchandising tool. And merchandising is all about presentation of products to maximize sales. When, where, what are all important, and you have to do it incredibly well. And to be really awesome, you need those products to be super relevant and in the moment. So real-time you have to figure out what is the shopper most likely to buy. And like right now, what are they going to buy right now so that you can capture that? So automation and machine learning are critical now. And you really can't guess. You need to know. So actually, here's an example of recommendations on Target's website. This is a product page, and they have recommendations on the sidebar as well as in the footer that are relevant to that Sriracha t-shirt. Walmart, on their homepage, based on your history, somebody's come back to their site, they know the history and are presenting products that shopper may like. Staples, got your swing line stapler there, and recommendations on those product pages. And then, of course, Amazon. Amazon promotes roughly or treats roughly 75% of their homepage to recommendations. That's how important it is. Now, there's numerous case studies that have revealed that anywhere between 5 and 15% of online revenues, total online revenues for stores, can be attributed to recommendations. So that's a big chunk of your online revenues. And again, it's also validated by Amazon, which, as I mentioned, devotes like 75% of their homepage. So it is directly driving revenues. But then, how do you know you're doing well? I mean, you can look at that total revenue number, but there's also some other metrics that you can apply and understand, hey, how am I doing here? And that's really click-through rates. So on your recommendations, what we've seen at SLI with our own customers is that on average, there's a 10% increase in click-through rate when you employ SLI's learning recommendations, and an almost 5% increase in average order value. So right there, you're seeing higher clicks, higher conversions, and that shopping cart, it's getting bigger. And again, I mentioned before, the power of recommendations is a known quantity. It's likely that you already have some form of recommendations on your site. And you've probably started seeing some of those good results. But now is really the right time to reevaluate versus what you've expected and look at the opportunities to take your recommendations to the next level. And the best way to make that decision is really actually to start out with your goals in mind. Then execute and optimize around that. So a lot of times, the first starting point in terms of goals is, of course, revenue and the location of your recommendations. So what spots on your site are going to drive revenue? And namely, it's your product page and your shopping cart page. Your product page, that's a great place to try different recommendation strategies, but mainly to present other products you might like. Or people who've bought this may have also bought this as an add-on. Cart pages, definitely there. You've already got something in your cart. You don't want to show an alternative, but you do want to cross-sell or upsell. So those are the revenue-driving pages that folks are looking at. But you also need engagement, and that's where your homepage and your category pages are. There, with that engagement goal, you're asking, what can accelerate your shopper's product discovery? and reduce bounces? What's going to get them engaged right away? Now, your homepage and category pages, those are on-site recommendations. What about email? Everybody wants to add those recommendations and that learning and that personalization of great product ideas to their outbound marketing as well. So again, email in particular is an engagement opportunity. It's going to drive people to your site. So whether it's revenue that you're focused on or engagement or hopefully both to take your game to the next level, the opportunity to crush your goals is there, and it's a big opportunity. Now, but the other thing is that what we've consistently heard is that despite the great customer experience wins of recommendations, is that most merchandisers are absolutely crushed by the workload and manual tuning that's required to make their recommendations plugins work. So, hey, your team, they're experts. They know your products. They know your customers. But it takes hours upon hours every single week, every single month and season to present the relevant products or display recommendations at the right time to the right shopper. Your merchandiser are constantly asking, well, what category or brand is hot right now? Okay, it's Easter and Mother's Day. Those are right around the corner. What folks, what are they buying for mom this year? Or you're selling shoes, and if you have a Nike trail running shoe and somebody's on that page, what should you recommend there? Other Nike models or other trail shoes by Brooks or Asics or another brand? Basically, there is a lot of work when it comes to merchandising. And that's what we're hearing a lot from customers is that their basic recommendations plugin kind of puts something on your site, but it takes a lot of work to actually deliver the results. And ultimately, what's worse than actually spending all that time on that is and it's really almost gut-wrenching, is how do you actually know that you're making the right best choices? You're working really hard and doing those manual tuning, but how do you actually know that that's optimized for sales? So certainly there's a big focus now on machine learning technology in online retail to specifically answer those questions, to get the best results and to save you a lot of time in doing it. And wouldn't it be great if there was a way to get the best of those both worlds, bigger results with less manual merchandising headaches. So that's why I have Justin here today. I want to interview Justin because folks are doing this today and customers are doing this today with SLI, and I want to hear firsthand what's working and what's not. So, Justin, I've got some questions for you, okay? You ready to rock?
All right. Yeah, let's go to rock and roll.
All right. Yeah, let's do it. Well, so the first question is, how do you measure success? What's the bar that merchants should be shooting for right now?
Well, generally, as you mentioned before, having, I believe you said a 10% click-through rate and at least a 5% increase in AOV, that's a good parameter to start. And I think where a lot of people or a lot of companies that I speak with on a daily basis fall short is just understanding how important the recommendations are in general. We like to think at SLI, as the search box as, what we call it a revenue box, because the search box can contribute up to 30 to 40% of your total site revenue. Well, the same thing goes for recommendations. If we're just checking the box and saying, hey, we fulfilled that obligation by having recommendations on our site, which is great, if you're not maximizing that, or if you're spending a lot of time, like you had mentioned, manually merchandising these products, then the ROI just isn't there. So, being able to achieve a 10% increase in click-through rate is not an unrealistic expectation. That's definitely something that a target that is attainable. And our clients do see that. And the nice thing about the machine learning that you mentioned is that it's all automated. And we would expect that to continually increase over time. Because keep in mind, these recommendations, they're getting smarter and smarter. So we as with all of our products, it's a learning platform. So as it gets utilized more by the end user, it will just keep getting better and better and can anticipate seasonal trends and so forth. So.
Excellent. Okay.
That's
Now, one of the things that folks are always asking about are recommendation strategies. And so I was wondering, what strategies are working right now?
Yeah, so most e-commerce platforms will incorporate some kind of viewed, also viewed strategy, right, where it's using cookie tracking to deliver some sort of recommendations. And that's pretty good. You can get decent recommendations that way because you know what they've been visiting in the past. But where we really see great results is by incorporating something on the product page that's in placement's important as well, not putting them too far down on the page, but putting a strategy on the product page that will resonate with the shopper and really understands who the shopper is. And I think we'll talk about personalization in a little bit. But maybe showing strategies, in complementary with viewed, also viewed, but we also know what's been clicked on and what users that are viewing that page have clicked on in the past, and can show relevant recommendations based off of that learned data that we've gathered through our learning platform. So showing something like that on a product page is a great place. But you mentioned here top sellers and trending on the home page. Amazon's a big proponent of that. As you mentioned before, showing a recommendation on the home page, either a top seller or a most clicked on product or a trending product that we have here at SLI is a great way to just get the customer engaged quickly and to maybe think of things that they might not have thought before. Think of it like when you go into Walmart and you see a greeter, right? What if the greeter already knew possibly what you're going to buy ahead of time, or can recommend, hey, this is what's hot right now. Let me take you right to that spot. And then, you're automatically not only providing a better customer experience for the end user, but you're providing a great value. And so, that's a good place. And then the cart pages, showing complementary products either that go directly with the product they're purchasing, or maybe something that you want to ensure that they have the opportunity to buy. I like to, out here in California, we have Fry's Electronics, and I know a lot of retailers do this now, but they have almost an entire aisle you have to walk through before you check out. I'm sure you've seen that, Bob, right? Where you're going and you see a bunch of products there. So, yep. And that's kind of the idea here, is that we're showing products that they may not have thought of to buy before, but now that we're presenting to them, and we know what people purchase when they buy one product, then we're able to ensure that we're maximizing that part of our site. So those are probably the best places to put them, and where I generally see the most success.
Excellent. Yeah, and I think a lot of times what retailers, where they're going to gain their big advantage is to think about what their customers are thinking at different points in the shopping experience. So, right, when they're on this is like Carolina Rustica, when you're on that product page, they're going, that's cool, I like that bed that I'm looking at, but what are my other options? Whereas, right, you're on the homepage. Right. You just might want to know what the top sellers are, or category page. Hey, I'm browsing beds in general. Well, maybe I might want other, other things for the bedroom, presenting those options based on kind of like, why am I on this page at this moment?
No, that's exactly right. And with this specific page, in particular, Carolina Rustica, why they've had so much success on here is, I mean, they're showing 2 layers of recommendations here, but they already know what's been clicked on. So when somebody searches for this particular bed and for a specific search term and they click on the bed, we already know what is clicked on. So we're able to show those recommendations on the bottom in conjunction with this. And so it's complementary. It goes so well with the product they're already showing that their customer feels like they're getting an almost in-store experience, which is what we're really striving to do, is deliver them, that in-store experience online. And that can, the furniture industry, that can be very, very difficult to do, but they've been able to have a lot of success with it.
Excellent. Well, and speaking of success, how do I get even bigger results? Like, I'm already doing recommendations. Like, how do I go even bigger?
Right. So what we had talked about before is, what if you could automate it, right? What if this could all be done on the back end for you? And I know there are some ways and some platforms that do allow that, but what if you're able to spend your time doing other priorities that in your business, rather than having to manually merchandise products and trying to anticipate trends and figure out what goes best with what. Here at SLI, what we pride ourselves upon is obviously our relevance, right? And not only providing relevant search results, but providing relevant recommendations, because we have so much data from our customers that we've gathered over our 15 years in the industry, that we know what they're most likely to buy right now. And on this page, this is what I had mentioned earlier. This is a top seller strategy in conjunction with some other additional data that we have from search that we're able to deliver on their homepage that will dynamically change on a daily basis. So we know that more than likely, if we're getting closer to back to school and there's many teachers that are buying a specific product for their classroom, well, that'll automatically get boosted to the top. And so they don't have to anticipate that. Their customers are telling them, hey, look, this is what I'm looking for. I bet other teachers are looking for the same thing. So that's a huge opportunity that could be missed on, but it's just a great way to boost AOV and a quick win for most of our customers.
Cool. But there is also some control to that, right? I mean, so you have the learning from the algorithm working for you, but you also can build your own merchandising rules, right?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Bob. Yeah, I hear that a lot. Many companies that I speak with, they still like to retain some element of control, and I can totally get that. You don't want to completely put it on a cruise control and have no way to adjust your course. While it is important to allow the machine learning to automate recommendations to an extent, having the ability to fine-tune the results gives them that opportunity. So a console that will allow you to either select a particular strategy and tweak it as you see fit really opens up the realms of possibility. And at SLI, we allow them in our console to be able to do that. So you can go in and specifically drag and drop recommendations in, or you can work with, we have a customer success manager here that you work with that can leverage their knowledge that they've had over the years. It can be a great resource for you to help maximize the product success, as they really know firsthand what works and what doesn't. But yeah, within our console, we have the ability to fine tune these strategies and literally drag and drop products into the strategy that you want to see fit. That may either have a higher margin for that customer, or they just really want to push a particular product at the time. So yeah, it's great control, and it's something that a lot of our customers have told us they wanted for a while, and now that we've been able to incorporate that, the ROI is it's getting even higher. So pretty cool.
Excellent. Yeah. So that's really in that vein of how can I take my recommendations to the next level. You have that learning you have that algorithm working for you as a machine, but then you're applying your experience and knowledge and layering on those merchandising rules. Well, I guess that leads a little bit when we talk about the algorithms, like, how can I learn from shoppers' behavior, and how is that going to drive the best recommendations?
Right. Well, the shoppers are already telling you what they want to buy. So by just having recommendations based off of sales data, which is a good barometer, doesn't always tell the whole story, right? It could be other issues involved in terms of price and things you may be missing out on. But using learned data that we can gather from them, that we know, hey, when somebody does a search for this, or when somebody clicks on this product, we know that this one either goes with it or this is what we're intending to find. Since we already know that information, being able to apply that over to the recommendations portion, that's what it really allows these recommendations to go to the next level. It allows you to take that part of your business and make it better. In this example, for Jerome's Furniture, we know that when people, when they're doing a search for a particular, a table, the other ones that are shown below, those have been clicked on as well. So this is not really sales data, but we know these are popular trends. And so what if you were able to anticipate that ahead of time and not have to try and either spend the time manually going in here and fine-tuning it, but just allowing the machine platform to take over and to show your customers the most relevant products right now. That's really the goal. And with all of our products here, I think the learning is really the key differentiator. We're gathering so much information from our customers as they interact with your site that we're just able to apply that on a whole host of levels. And recommendations has got to be one of the easiest ways to get the quick wins and to see an ROI relatively soon after implementation. So.
Exactly. Yeah. And I imagine also, right. Yeah, totally. Well, and it's also, you could layer in like who your shoppers are and factor in like their location or their gender,
right.
Or what brand. And actually that kind of leads to my next question. It was like, okay, what's that? What's even the next level of that? And that's personalization. That is a red hot topic right now for online retailers. Is how can I deliver not just good recommendations, but how can I provide personalized recommendations?
Well, now you're really taking it to the next level there, Bob. I think I've been hearing this all year, right? The buzzword of 2016 was definitely personalization, and applying it site-wide, having retailers trying to figure out how they can apply some level of personalization, as this is how Amazon and all the big players are doing it. How, as a smaller retailer or even a big one, how do you figure out how to personalize the experience for that customer? And one way to do it is what we've done is, in this example, this is one of our shoe retailers. What if we know either by gender or by brand affinity or whatever, we know in this case you're a woman. So if you're doing a search for Skechers shoes and you click on a shoe that's a woman's shoe, we know, okay, well, this is probably a woman shopping. So any subsequent product pages that are shown, the recommendations, will be tailored for that individual user. And so she'll see women's shoes, and it just adds another layer of relevancy to the results. And they've seen a great increase in not only revenue per user, but they've seen an increase in their overall user experience. They've gotten feedback from this because they have a lot of repeat customers who have noticed this change and have really enjoyed being able to utilize this new functionality on their site. And the personalization piece is definitely something that has been talked about a lot, and I think going forward will just we'll be figuring out more ways to incorporate personalization into the entire e-commerce experience.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, personalization is not just the buzzword of the year, but it's actually a capability that you could have now. And I think a lot of businesses that I've talked to kind of get hung up on like making it so one-to-one. It's like, well, what's Bob gonna buy right now? When really, and especially when it comes to recommendations or search results, it's relevancy that matters. It's not just, hey, Bob is a size 12 shoe and has purchased red Brooks running shoes in the past, and so that's all I'm going to show him. No, it's actually broader. It's around
right.
different facets of that shopper based on their experience, and you could do that today. So I think there's different ways you could tune it around gender. So this is a perfect example, but brand also, location, size. Location is actually an interesting one, right? Because seasonality. If I'm shopping,
I think what you're really hitting on is the fact that the end user really doesn't need personalization to help speed the path of purchase, which is what you're doing by having a size 12 shoe that you know exactly what they buy every time. I think what the customer's looking for is not a quicker experience, but a more relevant experience and a more, what would I like to buy? What you know this about me will help suggest things that either other people that are similar to me would buy, or that based off of my purchase history or what I've clicked on, help me find those products. I think that's the real goal here.
Yeah, and the cool thing there is you could deliver that personalization in real time to any shopper. It could be a first-time visitor. As soon as they interact or click on something on your site, you know something about them that you could personalize around. So it's really powerful. And again, it's something that's
Absolutely.
easily done and attainable today, and it's not a behemoth project to do. I'm going to shift gears a little bit.
Implementation is very, very important.
Yeah, no, it's really important. Now, this is actually something that's always personal. I'm a marketer, so I send a lot of emails. So I'm kind of shifting off-site, but something that all online businesses do is send email to their customers. How can I get better results by adding that recommendations learning to my emails?
Right. So this is a huge opportunity because recommendations, on their own are huge in your business. But being able to either send an email to a customer for promotion, right? If you're having a product promotion, you send out and you want recommendations in that email, or maybe they just recently purchased something and you want to suggest, hey, this would go great with that. Did you think about buying this? And so being able to capture that information and understanding which products they're most likely to buy is key. And I think with SLI, what we're able to do is just help extend the recommendations that you're seeing on the site into email. So they're now dynamically changing on their own. You don't have to come in here and hand select products like you normally would with manual merchandising, trying to figure out, hey, what should I send out this week in my email marketing campaign? It can be all automated for you. And we have many customers that are doing that and having great success because they're not only keeping in touch with their customers, but they are offering that extra level of personalization that they're looking for. And they're not only driving more traffic, but helping to increase the AOV and user experience for that shopper.
Excellent. Yeah, and you could do it intelligently, and this is some information here that I always find, as a marketer, again, I like to send email, but I don't want to send the same thing every single time. And so it sounds like basically you could look at those recommendations and serve up general information like your top sellers, or segment. We love email marketers. We love to segment our database and know, okay, well, these are Adidas shoppers, so show the hottest Adidas shoes or shirts that are available, or again, kind of that like abandoned cart email. That's a one-to-one personalized experience. So you can mix those things up. That's really cool. So Justin, I have one last question for you. Yeah, one last question. How can I save time? This sounds like so hard. Is it really that hard?
That's the question of the day. No, not at all. The great thing is this is probably one of the easiest things you can do. In terms of implementation, we really it all is just a couple lines of code that we provide that are placed on different areas of the site. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time to set this up. And the nice thing is once these are set up, the ROI off this product is relatively quick. I mean, one of our customers recently, once they were able to incorporate our recommendations, they were seeing, the product pay for itself in a matter of weeks, just because it is so low touch and it operates on its own. So I think if people are wondering, hey, this seems like a lot of undertaking, this could be a big task, I would say that's probably the farthest from the truth. This is probably one of the easiest and fastest ways to help maybe get some of that lost revenue back you missed during the holiday season, or just as you're heading into the summer months, being able to capture that and provide a better user experience for your shoppers and save the merchandising team more time. It's a great way to do that.
Excellent. Okay. Well, hey, Justin, those are the questions that I have. In a moment, there's a couple questions that have come in online, but just to summarize, right now is really a perfect time to reevaluate your recommendations. Good enough is no longer good enough, and that plugin might not be working out and really optimizing what you need, and you might be leaving money on the table. So kind of decision criteria that you should think about when making a move, or some of the things we talked about. Is this going to drive significantly more revenue for you? And there's proof points to that. How intelligent is it? Is your recommendation solution actually learning from the clicks and the purchases that your shoppers are doing? Personalization, red hot again. It's got to be able to, your recommendations need to quickly, in real time, that's very quick, real time, show that relevance to the customer, and that's whether they've been on your site before or not. If they're a first-time visitor, you could still get personalized. And it also needs to extend off-site. How can those learning recommendations translate to your outbound marketing? And then ultimately, folks are still with their current recommendations plugins spending a lot of time doing manual merchandising. So let those algorithms work for you to save you not just a little bit of time, but a lot of time. So, Justin, now's a good time. Some folks are asking some questions. I'm going to give a couple moments. Folks, there's a resources tab here in your On24 console. Look at the case study, the white papers. We have some other interesting videos around recommendations that you can watch. Or certainly at any time go to SLI Systems resources page, which is located at www.ecommerce.com. sli-systems.com/resources. Justin, so a couple of questions have come in, and really the first one is, can I still control the rules for my recommendations?
Yeah, you definitely can, and I think that's an important part of the tool, is that you don't want it to be completely automated and to have it on 100% cruise control, right? We want to be able to give the user some flexibility in how it looks and what products are presented, because they know their business better than anybody, right? I mean, not even a machine. But the point is to save them time. So I think being able to have some element of control and being able to select and enhance your products is important, and that's definitely something that we offer here at SLI.
Excellent. We do have a question also about chatbots, and do you think that chatbots are an effective tool for recommendation?
Chatbots, I mean, they can be an effective tool for capturing the user and being able to help keep them engaged. I think they can be a complementary tool with I wouldn't probably rely on that solely, but I think when you can combine that in conjunction with recommendations, because I mean, a chatbot you're still spending time, somebody's spending time communicating with that person, and the goal is to make it as automated as possible, right? Leveraging the machine learning. So using that in conjunction with the recommendation strategy, or recommendations in general, can be a good resource as well.
Yeah, and this is something, actually, last month's webinar, I got a chance to talk about 2017 trends, and chatbots not only were big this past holiday season, but they're going to become an even more important engagement tool in 2017. And yeah, it is automated. There's some things that you can do, and I really view it as another placement of relevant products, and just with some simple keywords, feeding those relevant products in would be very powerful and automated. Excellent.
Right.
Yeah, chatbots are great. I have another question. Can I test my multiple recommendation strategies? That's good. Yeah, there's lots of. We talked about a lot of different strategies, whether it's viewed, not viewed, viewed, also viewed, not bought, also bought, bestsellers. How do you know which one's right? And can I? And ultimately, us marketers, we love to test. Can I test my recommendation strategies?
Well, absolutely. That's a great thing to do, and a great question, first of all, whoever asked that. I think typically what we would want to do is, obviously we like to start with one and optimize it from there. We want to make sure that that's working correctly before moving on to another one. But even if you already have one and you possibly want to have two set up or even three, you can definitely work with our team here to help facilitate that, but usually the test would be done on the customer side through some kind of A/B testing solution. But yeah, the testing strategies is definitely an effective way. And the nice thing is with our console is that you can view in-depth reporting and to see which revenue is attributed to which strategy, analyze the click-through rates and the conversion rates for each independent strategy, so you get an understanding of which one's more effective that way. So you can definitely test it, but at SLI we actually give you additional resources to analyze strategies to ensure they're providing an ROI and working for the end user.
Excellent. Okay. Well, and Justin, I have one last question that has come in. Does this work with Magento?
Absolutely, for sure, definitely. We have many clients who use Magento, and I know Magento does offer some level of basic plugin and functionality for recommendations, but the ability to utilize SLI and Magento has been something that we've been able to help our clients leverage for years now. We've worked with Magento for a very long time, and if you have Magento currently, this would be something that I would highly consider. Magento plugins are great, but what if it could be greater, right? And what if we could help take it to the next level? And that's definitely something that this tool and the SLI learning recommendations can help with.
Excellent. Yeah. Thanks, Justin, so much for your time today. Again, I think you hit it right there. A lot of folks are using the basic out-of-the-box plugins that come with their e-commerce platforms. Everybody has them today, but the question is, are you leaving money on the table? Can you leverage what your shoppers are already doing on your site to provide more relevant and more personalized recommendations? So with that, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. Go out, get those resources, great additional information about recommendations, and some really good best practices that SLI has to offer that you can employ today. Justin, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Bob, for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right. Thank you, everyone.